everybody. Welcome to episode 34 of the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa, and I'm coming to you from Long Island, New York. It's a gorgeous day out here. I'm in a different spot because I'm recording earlier in the day, and the sun is just directly over the spot where I usually sit to do my recording, and the lighting was pretty bad. So, new spot. I'm just trying to squeeze this in today in between lots and lots and lots and lots of teaching. So, this episode is probably going to be a little bit shorter. I don't have all of my segments today, and I'm sure you guys will understand why when we go into the Knitworthy section right here. So, let's start with Knitworthy. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. The last episode, we were all in such a hopeful place. My mother-in-law was doing spectacularly, was the last that I reported to you guys, and we were talking to her. She had just been moved to like a regular recovery facility out of a long time acute care, something like that, where she had been thriving. And this is so difficult. When she got into the regular rehab facility, she just wasn't getting better, and her body just was getting weaker instead of stronger, and she had infections that her antibiotics just couldn't fight, and they just wouldn't fight. She's been fighting. She had been fighting for 2 months, since early July, when she went in for an emergency abdominal surgery, and she just really, really struggled to recover. It was a miracle that she came back to us for about 6 weeks like she did. It was an absolute miracle, but she just was tired. She was exhausted, and she had to look out for herself and decided she couldn't fight anymore, and she asked to go into hospice care. So over the weekend, I guess this was about early last week that we found out that she was going into hospice. And so over Labor Day weekend, my husband and I, we got in the car and we drove down to Florida, and we got to see her for a few days, which it was so special. When we got there, we finally got in around midnight. We drove almost straight through. We slept for about 4 hours in Virginia because we had no idea how long she was going to be hanging on. And thankfully, when we got in around midnight, and she was exhausted but coherent and able to communicate with us and speak with us in between a lot of rest. And my sister-in-law got in around 2:30 that morning, and so the three of us just camped out in her hospice room that entire night. And she hung on for a few days. It was my birthday weekend. Sunday was my birthday, and I was just really dreading my birthday this year, just knowing that there was a possibility that I could lose my mother-in-law on my birthday. And she just gave me the most magical, special gift ever, and it turned out to just be the most lovely day. As lovely as a day in hospice can be anyway. When she realized it was my birthday, she mustered up the energy and she sang me happy birthday. And but might have not been the most beautifully sung happy birthday. But it was the absolute most special happy birthday song that I've ever gotten in my life. The fact that she sang me happy birthday when she was in such pain and so exhausted, it was amazing. And so just little by little, she just kept getting weaker and weaker, and and just kept her comfortable on a lot of pain medication. And we just sat with her for a few days. We barely left the room. We basically just camped out with her, and saying goodbye was the most difficult moment. We had to come back home to Owen, and we needed to leave before she left us. And so that was really, really difficult. And she wasn't really able to communicate with us at that point, but she understood. And we knew that she heard us. And then she kept hanging on. I mean, it took us 2 days to drive home. We said goodbye to her in person on Tuesday, early afternoon. And then we got home Wednesday around midnight. And then she left us on Thursday morning, right before Owen went to school. And we are relieved that she's finally able to rest, because she's been fighting so hard for these past 2 months, this whole summer. I told Bryce, I said, I bet you she's hanging on until she knows that we made it back home safely from this drive. And that was exactly what she did. His sister-in-law flew home, so we told her in person that his sister made it home safely to North Carolina. And she hung on until she knew that her kids were home safe. And now she's finally resting. It was a shock after being so encouraged and then having so much hope that maybe she was gonna recover. But we're glad that she is able to finally rest. And she left us way, way too early, and this whole situation was completely unexpected, and it shouldn't have happened at this age for her. It's just kind of a shocking situation. I don't feel comfortable explaining the details. But she just, we'll never know if she had had her surgery sooner, if she might have recovered better and not had to be on a ventilator and in a coma for a week. We'll never know. We'll never know if things would have turned out really differently. So I think it's just, life is really precious, and even when you expect to have so many more years with somebody, you really just never know. And it's hard, and sometimes you don't realize just how much you love somebody until you're faced with some horrible situation like we've been this summer. My mother-in-law and I were really close. We had our moments, but overall we were really good friends, and she was the best mother-in-law and the best mom to my husband. And I'm sad that she didn't get to spend more time in person with Owen, and that Owen didn't get to know his Yaya better, other than just through FaceTime and a couple of visits when he was much younger. He hadn't seen her in person since before the pandemic. So we're sad for all of the visits that we expected to be able to have, and the years that we expected to be able to have with her, and it's just really hard. So I know that that's a shocking update. So I know that she heard and appreciated all of the prayers that you all sent her way and our way. Some of them I know that she read herself in the comments, but she knew just how many people out there, people that she didn't even know personally, were really rooting for her. And I know that it meant a lot that you guys were all really supporting us and her on this past couple of months. So thank you. Thank you for all of the prayers and well wishes that you've sent, and I'm sorry that we don't have better news. So the entire way down to Florida, I spent working on this shawl because this was supposed to be her Christmas gift. It was right before her surgery in July that she bought this yarn with the intent for me to knit her this shawl for Christmas, and she got to see it. I knit on this. I had it, sorry about the lawn mower. So I had this about halfway done before we left. Going to be really loud. You're gonna have to wait this out. Okay, so that timing was quite unfortunate. The lawn service is scheduled for Wednesdays, not Fridays. I was not here Wednesday, so it's possible that it rained, and that's why they came today. But okay, so that was really crappy timing. But they're gone, so I have just a small amount of time here left before I need to get back to my students today. So this is gonna have to be kind of quick. All right, so back to the shawl. I think I was saying that I was halfway done with my mom-in-law's shawl when we got in the car last Thursday and headed down to Florida. Of course, the first night of driving, I didn't get like that much work on it done because we left pretty late in the day and it got dark pretty soon. So, but all day Friday, I knit and knit and knit and knit and knit and knit and knit on this thing the whole drive. And I mean, it was like a 12-hour drive that day, I think. It was a lot. It was a really long drive because we stayed in Virginia. I think around Fredericksburg or something. So we had quite a ways to go. And yeah, so I got it. I really wanted to get it done for her, and I totally did it. Like, I messed it up. I did not mess up the basket weave. The basket weave is perfect. However, I was really, I mean, she had told me to take my time knitting this because she fully intended on being around to receive it for Christmas. And so I wasn't actively working on it. So I had a lot of work, a lot of knitting to do. I had half of the shawl to still knit. Anyway, I got the whole rest of it done. It was dark, and this is seamed together with a 3-needle bind off. So I had my stitches on waste yarn on the cast on edge because it was a provisional cast on, And I've knit this twice before. I knit this as a sample for Tabitha for her shop, Long Island Yarn and Farm. This is Tabitha's Long Island Yarn and Farm alpaca silk. I think it's 90% alpaca and 10% silk. So the brown is the alpaca and these beautiful little light blue specks are the silk. And so I didn't have any issues with the 3-needle bind off for the first two that I did. For this one though, I didn't block it because I was in the car and it was dark, and I know that I could put the light on in the car, the interior light, but I don't feel like that's the safest thing to do, and we had been going for a really long time. So I tried to put back the stitches onto the needle in the dark from the waste yarn, and I stitched it together like right when we got there in the hospital room, in the hospice room, because I really wanted her to have it, because we didn't know how much time she had left, and we just, there was something saying just finish this and give it to her so that she knows it's done and can enjoy it, even if it's just for a few minutes. So I did it, and I didn't fix, I don't know, I didn't get the stitches picked up the right way. You're supposed to block it first too before you do the 3-needle bind off. So I hadn't blocked it, and I did all of it in the dark. And let's just say that the seam, I've got like twisted stitches from picking them up. The pattern doesn't line up. I don't even want to show it to you because I'm not proud at all of that particular work on this. But I knew that she wouldn't care about that. I didn't tell her. She probably hears me saying it right now. So I did finish this. She got to hold it. She got to tell me it's beautiful, and I know that she really, really appreciated it. Bryce and I decided to bring it back home, and that she would want me to have it, and that it would be a nice thing for me to have to remind me of my mom-in-law. And whenever I need a hug, I'm gonna put this on and just remember her and our relationship and the love that we had for each other, and it'll just be really comforting to have. But now that I'm back, I fully intend to finish this properly. I think I even did it you're supposed to do it with the right sides together. I think I did it inside out. Really did not finish this well. This is not up to my standards. So I'm gonna unpick the bind off, and I'm gonna see about getting both of the edges back onto some waste yarn, and then I'm gonna block it, and then I'm gonna redo my bind off, and then it should be much better. But you wouldn't, it's on the back, so you wouldn't know if I didn't show it to you, and I'm not gonna show it to you because that's how bad it is. But yeah, so we miss you, Mary, already tremendously. We love you so much, and you put up a hell of a fight. You really did. We're so proud of you, and thank you for raising such a wonderful son, being the best yaya to Owen, even if it was mostly from a distance. You were the best, and your memory's gonna live on, and I'm gonna give you a hug all the time. So, okay. So that sucked that I got interrupted by the long guys before I finished my Knitworthy segment. But here we are. As you guys can imagine, I was in the car and sitting very quietly with my mother-in-law, and we were just keeping her company for, I think we were there for 3 full days pretty much. We were there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then we left to and half the day on Tuesday. So I had 3.5 days plus like 4 days driving. So you guys can imagine that I did actually get quite a bit of knitting done on this trip, because there was a lot of quiet time. So I am going to update you on all of my knitting projects, and then that will be today's episode, because I have no spinning, no natural dyeing or anything. So let me just share with you all the knitting that I was able to get done this week and show you my progress, because I finished a lot of stuff. So, okay, hang on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is a finished object. It is not 1,000% finished because I just have to block it still, but I finally finished my test knit for Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fiber Co. So I've got the Lola Chic sweater all done. Let's see if I back up a little here, if I can maybe get more of it on camera. So I guess I can put it on. I haven't blocked it yet. Yeah, it is finished. I will properly block this and wear it on an episode pretty soon, because it does need to stretch out just a little bit. It just needs to relax. But yeah, so it is a cropped, and it will be boxy once it is blocked. It's a superwash yarn, so this is going to block a bit. And oh my gosh, it is so pretty. So this is the first time I tried it on, but yeah, so this is gonna relax quite a bit. I am not at all worried. And it is supposed to be like a little bit fitted at the waist. I did add a little bit of extra length to it. But yeah, we'll talk more about this one when I have it like fully finished and I can like model it the way that it is really supposed to be. So I'm gonna take it off again, hang on. But yeah, so this is the Lola Chic sweater, and it's a really cute cropped boxy sweater, and I knit this out of, I have so much left over too. Well, they sent me an extra one, but this is Kerfluffle, and this is from Wonderland Wonderland Yarns, and this is on their Alice DK base, which is 70% superwash merino and 30% silk. So it is just glorious. It has all of these beautiful speckles in it, and yeah, I have leftover, which is pretty exciting. And it just fell. Oh, I dropped everything. Yeah, so I am so happy to get this finished. When I left, I had about half a sleeve left to go. So this was like a really quick one to finish. I pulled this out on the drive home, and I whipped out that second sleeve and got my ends woven in. And so now that I've shown you guys my finished object, I am going to get this soaked and blocked this weekend, and then I'll have it ready to wear as this weather is finally starting to cool down a little bit. So yeah, so that is my Lola Chic sweater in Kerfluffle, and I love it. So it's got this cute little textured stitch pattern, and usually I would do a textured pattern. I would save for like a solid colored yarn or something that was more tonal, but this all over speckle pattern, actually it shows up super well. Annie knit her sample in a speckled yarn, so I knew that that was the perfect thing for this sweater. And it's just got these two sweet little cables outlining that center band of texture right there. So yeah, I'll be really excited to have this in my wardrobe for this fall. And that is what I have for finished objects. So let's move on to whips. Okay, so the whip that I was most anxious and eager to be working on this week was the one that I was hoping to have done for my birthday. And I'm there, but I'm not. So I'll explain that in a minute. But this is my Bright Axis Tee by Stephanie Lotvin. And this is from her book, Knit Happy with Self-Striping Yarns. So I have been knitting this from a naturally dyed purple. This is logwood, dyed with logwood. And this is a Knit Picks Hawthorn base. And then the rainbow color has been out of this beautiful self-striping rainbow yarn called Squash Blossom by Knitworthy Things. And this was from her August 2020 Sock Yarn Club. So these were the yarns that I was using, and I have finished knitting it, just about. I don't even know right now which is the front. I think that's is that the front? I think so. I don't know. Maybe that's the front. No, I started with I don't know. I think this is the front. Yeah, so it is curling a lot yet because I don't have the shoulders seamed together yet. And that is because Stephanie recommended to block it first so that you could like get the accurate measurements of the neck opening. So I'm trying to show you, like, I did a really good job lining up my stripes, and so when I seam the shoulders together, it's gonna line up really perfectly. So, I just dropped it again. I'm trying to get it so that I can hold it up and show you guys. So this is my Bright Axis Tee, and it is super curling up still. But yeah, so last time I had the back panel done and I just had the front to go. So I worked on this like the whole way, like through the hospice, in the hospice room, hanging out with her. And it was one of those really simple, mindless, just comforting knits. Like you got that little bit of excitement every time you got to a new color of the stripe. So I never once lost my excitement about working on it. And yeah, so like I showed you guys last time, I'm gonna back up the camera a little bit here. See if I can get out of, the sun is changing. But yeah, so there's this really, really sweet, so what's it called? Like slip stitch detail on the edge of the neckline, which is super sweet. And so that only lasts for the neckline opening. And then the shoulders do not have that. So yeah, I wish I had more blocking mats. I have so many things that need just to be blocked and finished at this point. But this is so close. All I need to do now is block it, seam the shoulders together, and then there is a little bit of ribbing on the cuffs of the sleeves. That will be in this color. So I am excited because, well, this is almost done, which is amazing. I just love the colors so much, and I love how the stripes are like a little bit wider than the ones in her sample. I wasn't really sure at first how it was gonna look and work out, but I think it's so happy looking, and just this brings me so much joy. And like the edge where you attach it is just so neat and tidy, and it's so clever how she did this. So yeah, so my Bright Axis Tee is almost ready to wear. That's exciting. And I think that I have enough yarn, hopefully, to make some socks. I'm not gonna need to use too much more of this for the cuffs. And I also have the mini here that came with the rainbow yarn. So definitely, like, between these three, I think what I'm gonna do is make a pair of, I don't know if I'll use the mini or not. We'll see. Maybe for like the heels or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm gonna make a little pair of socks to go with this, and they might be shorty socks. I might make some shorty socks because I don't have like a super big amount of this, and I really only have one pair of shorty socks. And since this is gonna be more of a spring summer sweater, I'm not really gonna need to have matching socks for it, so I think shorty socks will be like the perfect thing. So yeah, that is the status of my Bright Axis tee, and I have some more whips to show you guys, so let me go get those. Okay, so I know that I had promised you guys that for the next episode I would have made some serious progress on Hedwig. I did make progress, but I did not bring Hedwig with me to Florida because it's just at a point where I need to do some finicky work. So I am knitting Hedwig from the Harry Potter Knitting Magic book by Tanis Gray, and the second book you can pre-order now. I have a link down below to pre-order it in the description box, and I think that that's coming up pretty soon when it's going to be released. I thought initially it was like September 28th, but I think my husband ordered it for me for my birthday, and it's not going to actually be out maybe until October, I think he said. So I'm not really sure. So I have to check on that. But I have been working on Hedwig for the whole summer. I just don't seem to knit on him. Her. Hedwig is a girl. You guys let me know that. I just keep saying him. I have been knitting on her. And all right, so she is still at this point, but last time I had the and it's really hard to show you, but I had one set of wings done. So there's like I don't know, they overlap somehow, I think, like that. And so what I got done before Florida was I did the other set of wings. So like all of the knitting is pretty much done. This, I wanted to say, I am knitting from, all right, so the plain yarn is Malabrigo Rios. Yeah, in just like the natural undyed color. And then this one is Madeline Tosh vintage, right? Yeah, it's Tosh vintage, and this is it's like got some black speckles in there, and it's called Optic 305P. So that's the color of that. And so that's what I used for the wings. All right, so I didn't bring this with me because the next thing that I have to do is I have to weave in the ends, and then I have to stuff it. And I didn't feel like bringing stuffing with me and doing all of the finicky finishing work when my head wasn't going to be in it. I needed some like just calm, easy, relaxing knitting. So this isn't far off. I think I'll be able to get her done this week. Yeah, I have to weave in the ends, and then I have to stuff it and shape the head, which ought to be the fun part of this. Yeah, and then like put the wings on and the face details, and then Hedwig should be done. So I'm gonna, now that my other projects are pretty much in their finished state, this gets next priority. So she's gonna get a lot of attention between this and the next episode. So, and that is my Hedwig status. I hope that you guys are joining in on our Harry Potter knitting magic knit-along. I can't even remember what the hashtag is. Harry Potter knit-along 2021 on Instagram, I think. I don't have too many of you guys participating. That is okay. I've been a little bit absent this summer because that all started right before my mother-in-law got sick and everything like that. So, but I've got plans. We are approaching the fall season, and I have plans to make Owen a sweater and accessories like a scarf and socks and all the things. So there's going to be a lot more Harry Potter and Knitalong stuff, projects in the works going on, coming to you guys pretty soon. Okay, so I have to wrap this up, but I have one final whip that I started that I wanted to share with you guys. And I think I have time to do that before I have to stop and get back to my teaching. So let me dig that out. Okay, so for once in my life, I actually brought with me to Florida the exact right amount of knitting for the time that I had. Usually I pack so many projects and I don't have time to get to most of them, right? I think we all do that. But this time, just because of the nature of the trip between all of the hours and days in the car and 3.5 days just being quietly knitting in the hospice room, keeping my mother-in-law company, I got so much knitting done. And it was the status of my projects going in was such that like things were just kind of getting completed. I mean, I completed the knitting on 3 items. I did the shawl, I did my bright access tee, and I finished up the Lola chic sweater. So those are just all at the status where they need to be blocked and finished and everything. So I found myself like on day 2 coming home from the trip, and I was like, what should I knit on? Because everything I had brought with me was like just at the stage where I needed to be home soaking it and, you know, finishing it. So I had with me, I don't know if you guys remember that I had this Humble, what is it called? Humble Bumble Fibers Co. That's the label. And I had this sock yarn that looks like this. And like a month or so ago, I had asked you guys to give me some ideas for shawls because I wanted to turn this into a fun shawl. And so I decided to cast on Spring Thing by Espace Tricot, I think is the pattern. It's a free pattern. And this is what I was able to get done so far. And so, yeah, so this is a nice little low-key, easy, mindless knitting pattern that was perfect for car knitting. So I worked on this for a few hours until it got too dark to really see what I was doing. And so yeah, I think that is knitting up so fun so far. So it's a simple pattern. It's free, so I feel like I can tell you it's basically just garter stitch, and then you increase along one side until we'll have like the full length every like X amount of rows, and some slipped stitches for the edge because there's a cute little tassel-y border that you put on at the end, which will be in this yarn, the border. And I think this is going to be just a really, really fun shawl. So that is my current like brand new cast on. You guys, I've got to go. I've got to teach again in a few minutes, and I missed so many lessons while I was gone that I had to redo my schedule so that I could fit in all of my students' lessons before their recitals coming up. So I've got to get back to it. So I am sorry that this is kind of a downer, a big downer of an episode this week and pretty short. But yeah, I wanted to really update you guys on what's been happening and just all the knitting that I did get done this week. So I am looking forward to picking up some older whips that have been in progress for way too long, and now that I've had a few things finished and get those finished. So I am excited to start sharing some new knitting projects with you guys in the new episode. We're gonna start fresh, and yeah. Again, thank you guys for all of your continued support and for the well wishes. It is so appreciated, not just by me, but my husband, and I know Mary was really touched that all of you cared so much and showed us so much support. So if you are not already subscribed, I promise next week will be a happier episode, and thank you guys. Oh, and I didn't announce, but I did put the natural dyeing segment, which was the part 2 of last episode. I did upload that while I was on the road as a separate video. So if you guys are missing the natural dyeing, really tune into that one, because I show you like all of my finished dyed yarn that I'm gonna be offering to you guys pretty soon. And I had a lot of questions, so I am excited for the excitement that has been shown toward that so far, and will encourage you guys to go check out that video if you have not done so already. So, all right, I hope you guys have a happy September, and I will see you guys next episode. Bye.